Alright, so we just finished Batman Returns. Took down some fun notes to share with you guys, some afterthoughts on maybe some alterations, pre-thoughts, maybe some add-ons, but you can start, I guess.
Okay, like I said, I hadn't seen this in a really long time, and I liked this a whole lot more than I remember. Like, this was a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
And, like, this movie kind of stops making sense at the end, just like the other one, but way more so. But, like, it's so fun, I don't really care.
Yeah.
And it's just so fun, like, you know, talking about what you would have done different.
Yeah.
Or, like, the way the Batman mythos could have changed.
Yeah. Yeah, entirely at some point.
But, I can't believe we forgot this little piece of trivia. Pee Wee Herman is in this movie.
He is in this movie. It almost, you can't tell that it's him, but then you see that one angle and it's like, I see through that mustache and sideburns. Yeah. It's Pee Wee Herman and he is the Penguin's dad, if you didn't know.
Yeah, so...
I didn't know that. And that was pretty funny.
So, if you ever hook up with Pee Wee Herman, remember, like, there's a polluted water supply, you might get a penguin baby.
And it's just some funny things that we wrote down from not remembering, though. Was one thing is that when the Penguin's parents decided to discard him into the sewers, he's definitely not a newborn anymore, and they kind of portray it as like he had just been born, and then within like a week they decided we're going to throw this baby out. Well, there's a couple of discrepancies there. Number one being that the mom definitely didn't look post-birth at all.
Yeah.
The baby is kept in a fucking prison of a dog cage, and he's definitely bigger than most 6-month babies at the time. So it's like that's a fucked up toddler basically in there.
Yeah, I kind of want to read like the short, like 15-page comic that came before this movie.
Yeah.
Like, no, honey, we're gonna keep him. He may be ugly, but we're gonna keep him. And then apparently he drove him so fucking crazy that they decided to toss him in the river. Because they held on to him for a good few months.
Yeah, definitely. He must have been running around the house like an evil gremlin for a minute or something.
Eating the fish in the fish aquarium.
Yeah. You eating all the fish. Damn it, my prize koi again, damn it. We're gonna throw him in the sewer. Oh man. Just some fun little trivia though. I personally had forgotten about this until watching the movie, but the Gotham Works statues with the like engineer Greek looking dudes pulling the levers down, and the skyline of Cobblepot's political posters are both part of the entrance to the Batman ride at Six Flags over Georgia. So next time you're there, if you watched this movie recently, you'll be like, whoa, there's Batman Returns, and you see the suit before you get on the coaster, obviously, and you're like, well, I think that's the Batman suit, but because it doesn't have the like armor plating or what, it's still a rubber suit, but it's just a cool little thing. I had forgot about that entirely, and then I saw it on there, and I was like, whoa, I mean, I ride that ride every summer, so it's cool. Otherwise, little trivia things out of the way. We noticed a lot of sexuality in this movie, very, very prominent sexuality. Everything from hidden innuendos to at one point Penguin walks in and he straight up says, now that's the pussy I was looking for, and it's Catwoman, you know, it's an innuendo, but it's like,
This might be the sexiest movie Tim Burton ever directed, and I feel like this is... Okay, no, it is PG-13.
Yeah.
I was thinking it might be PG.
Oh, no,
okay,
yeah,
no, it's PG-13.
They're all 13, I think.
Okay. But yeah, still, this might have more innuendos than any other Tim Burton movie, at least any that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because he usually does, you know, just slightly dark kids movies.
Yeah.
But this one has a ton of sexuality in it.
Yeah. Maybe he was thinking going into it like, I never really wanted to do Batman in the first place. I hate Batman.
You can tell from these two movies.
Yeah.
Batman is an afterthought. Well, Batman is featured, Bruce Wayne is an afterthought.
Yeah. So he was like, this is the last Batman movie I'm going to do, and I hate it anyway. I'm just doing it to make money. I'm just going to have fun and make it sexy, you know? Like, why not?
You know, something for the adults, maybe.
Yeah. Um, Other things though to touch on is Catwoman's character is just so much more
Yes.
amazing in this than in the Nolan movies, and I hate. It's so weird to say that because Christopher Nolan did such a solid job with everything, but it's just so like I don't know that first line that she says in the movie, you're just like, wow, you've already topped everything Hathaway did. And then when she like flips out of the department store, she's just like meow, and the place blows up. Like that's so awesome, and it's you take like a borderline burglar. Her being a cat burglar is almost secondary. It's like she's a terrorist almost, really. She's just going around and fucking shit up to do it as long as she can kill Max Schreck.
But she's also a vigilante in this, remember?
Yeah, she is a vigilante in this, which I guess is why her and Batman work out for a minute. But
yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, I didn't really expect to go with you on that. Like I'd just forgotten this movie existed. I just figured this Catwoman looked more like Catwoman, but Anne Hathaway was better. And no, not really.
Yeah.
Like her costume's way better. Hell, I think she's a whole lot sexier in this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
I love all the S&M elements, all the windows.
I agree.
She's a vigilante, whereas Anne Hathaway's not really till like the very, very end.
Yeah.
The feminism is brought up prominently in this.
Yeah.
Like she saved the chick from a bugger, and after beating up the dude, she's like, you're making this too easy on him. Take advantage of you.
Yeah. I thought that was awesome. Like that really was waiting for some big Batman to come save you. That was like, really cool because it's so true. I guess she's like the only. Well, Talia doesn't really apply because she's not from Gotham, but she's like Catwoman's like the only woman in Gotham that actually takes a legitimate stand against bullshit. And I like it because she doesn't stand for other women. She's still like, quit being a little bitch about it and do something, and I think it's really cool.
Now in the books, there's one or two strong female cops, but they're not brought up in these movies. So you got Catwoman. That's about it.
Yeah. One cool thing we noticed from Catwoman, though, aside from all the other awesome stuff, was there's always the cool quotes, or people might not recognize them, but we do.
Yeah.
From the last two movies. The last movie was Dancing with the Devil in the Pale Moonlight by Jack Nicholson. That's awesome. And in this one, Selena Kyle, Michelle Pfeiffer, whatever you want to say, she says, "Life's a bitch and so am I." And
aren't those Green Day lyrics?
Yeah, those are Green Day lyrics. To the Grouch, I think. Yeah, and then
I feel like you're right.
I think Kid Liberty uses them too, which they definitely use. They definitely use the Devil in the Pale Moonlight reference, but I think in what I'm thinking of, they say "Life's a bitch and so are you" instead of "so am I." But regardless, I don't know if it's a nod towards the movie. Obviously, the first one is, but that was cool. The only thing that really was a problem with Catwoman in this movie was that she goes on the whole 9 lives aspect, which is cool. It adds some flair to it, but it's like a lot of those deaths are illegitimate. Like she falls into a big dump truck of kitty litter.
Because we're working under like Looney Tunes logic.
Right. Because people just drive around with a big dump truck of kitty litter, that's the thing. She falls into that, doesn't even go unconscious. She wakes up, and apparently that was her second death.
Yeah.
And then
she gets dropped again from a not terribly great height, and that's a death.
Like she falls maybe a story into a glass window onto a bed of flowers, and it's like, oh, I just died. But she also screams with a very operatic throat and shatters all the glass. So I'm like, if you died, you just had extreme like blood and stuff, like wounds from all that glass injury. But
also, so she was resurrected. Those were like magic cats that brought her back to life.
Yeah, I don't know.
So you accept that she has superpowers?
I'm unsure about how that works because
it's so unclear.
Yeah, it's super unclear. It's like she gets knocked on the head and she becomes a badass, somersaulting, confidence-full role of feminism that also has with guardian cats, very Crow-esque, I don't really know how I feel about that. I mean,
well, if you believe this is in canon with the Halle Berry Catwoman movie, those are magic cats. Like it straight up says they're magic cats in the Halle Berry movie.
I don't know about all that now.
And I hope Warner Brothers like disavows this, but you can pretend they're canon because Halle Berry, don't watch this movie, but I did, so I'm stupid. She goes to a lady for advice about, what do these cat powers mean? And she sees pictures of all these other Catwomen throughout history. One's Michelle Pfeiffer.
I forgot about that entirely. So I only saw Catwoman once because it was a bomb.
You.
Let's be honest, like a bomb of a movie. But I forgot that it was like Catwoman Inc. Basically.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like Catwoman. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so you could pretend they're canon if you know you hate yourself. We will not be reviewing that one.
The only deaths, in my opinion, that she definitely suffered through were when she falls out the window, or gets pushed out the window in the beginning.
Which, if you're working under action movie logic, she could survive that because she doesn't just hit the ground. She goes through all these tarps first.
She goes through like 10 tarps, which slow your fall.
Which real life, 98% chance of dying. But in movie logic, that's like an 80% chance of living.
Yeah. But she definitely...
She has to die at the end.
At the end, see, the ending is the most weird part because she definitely gets shot 4 times, without a doubt. I would say 3 of those are at least life-threatening because I know she gets hit in the leg once. But then she pulls the whole, like, stun gun thing and fucking extra electrical overload onto Schreck. And which was cool. I had never considered what your point was that it was the irony of killing a guy with electricity when he wanted to open a power plant.
Which his whole motivation's weird. I want to make a power plant that drains energy for purposes I've never been to explain.
Yeah, it really doesn't. It really does.
But yeah, he wants to build a power plant and he dies by electrocution.
So it's clever.
That's cute, Tim Burton. Okay,
yeah, that's clever.
I'll go with that.
But then, the last scene in the movie is the bat signal, and you see Catwoman's head rise up with the perfect costume again. That's not fried.
Damaged.
So that's something interesting to think about because it's like, well, wait, I mean, I know that Schumacher got the rights after this, but it's one of those things like you consider so many what ifs throughout life. Like, what if Tim Burton had continued? Would there still be a Catwoman into the next movies, etc.?
Which I would love because I kind of like their relationship.
Yeah, I agree.
For like as weird and somewhat poorly written as this movie is, it works.
Yeah. One poorly written point was when they're dancing at the masquerade and everyone has masks on except for them two. The two who wear masks the whole time, which I get that from a directorial perspective, that's cool. It's like, imaginative.
But how much was he thinking about it? Was it like all deep, like you see they're in costume at the ball. Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle are
That's the costumes, yeah.
Those are the costumes.
Yeah.
Or was he just like, wouldn't it be funny if, go with me, the guys that wear costumes don't wear costumes.
Right.
Wink, wink.
But in that scene, they definitely have a realization of who each other is because they quote one another from a previous scene when they're in costume, which they say, like, mistletoe is deadly if you eat it, but a kiss is even deadlier if you mean it, or something like that.
And Bruce has already been dropping hints that he's Batman.
Yeah, the whole movie, he's pretty much just like, so hey guys, I'm Batman, but he's not really saying it. He's just kind of.
This is when Selena Kyle messes up, but Batman's been dropping the ball all up until this point.
Yeah, but then you fast forward to the ending scene when which is weird because the final showdown's not even with a real villain for real. It's with Max Schreck, who's like kind of invented, but it's like. Bruce is like, oh, we don't have to do this, Selena. Let's take off our mask, and he rips his mask off. It's not even, he pulls it in 2 pieces. But it's like, she acts all surprised, like, Bruce, and then he sees her, and he's all like, oh, Selena, and it's like, you knew this the whole time. What do? You literally were dancing, you said each other's lines, and then the next thing was, does this mean we have to go outside and fight about it?
Which was that was just a good line.
Yeah.
I liked that.
I like that, but it's like, you're admitting it, but then you're going to put it in denial and remission.
Yeah. then Christopher Walken's like, Bruce Wayne, why are you dressed up like Batman?
Yeah, that was
It's
pretty
just
funny.
hilarious.
That was really funny. Good old Christopher Walken is a great role in this movie, but
speaking of that end scene, it makes no sense because Batman has killed people all throughout this movie. All throughout it. But then he's like, no, we have to take a moral stand at the end to not kill Max Schreck.
yeah.
And I want to see the fan edit of this movie where, like, no, Batman goes along with her and kills Max Schreck and they become, like, psychotic, like, Sid and Nancy vigilantes together.
Sid and Nancy. Other things were, it's a movie. It's a movie based on a comic. None of it has to be realistic. But I just want to say, I don't have an umbrella handy, but if you open an umbrella and you put it in the wind, it tries to, pull away from your arm. If you want to be Mary Poppins and fly with an umbrella, it doesn't make sense, but I get it.
Yeah.
Now, Penguin's version of flying with an umbrella is, we're going to shed all of the material except for the endoskeleton, and that's going to be what powers the copter.
And it's not spinning super fast.
No, and these are bars that are about this thin and this big around.
It's like a
flimsy.
ceiling fan. You can watch it spin like ceiling fan speed. It's not like supersonic. It's moving so fast that we can get lift.
Yeah. So there's a lot of really weird physical elements in this movie that don't always make sense, but they're in it.
None of these master plans make sense. No,
none of them. But it is a movie, which is the point, I guess. But yeah, and then another thing at the end when Batman relocates all the penguins, which were apparently going to go. I don't really get this part. They were going to steal all the children from the town, but I don't know how penguins without opposable thumbs would steal anything.
The clowns, which were cool side villains. The clowns.
The circus thing. That was an awesome villain. Visually. Yeah.
But yeah, they were going to steal the kids, but then Batman broke up the penguins' toy train.
Right.
So then his master plan was like, screw it, I'm just going to kill everybody with suicide penguins.
Right.
Suicide penguins.
Rocket launching, night vision goggle wearing penguins, which is just as cool as in Austin Powers the laser sharks. Pretty awesome. Yeah. But I don't get how he reverts their their whole plan, I guess, which like the penguins had the plan. But he like reverts their whole plan away from Gotham, back to the zoo, back to where the penguins' base is. And then there's that whole little showdown where they're fighting before,
sort of.
Yeah, before Cobblepot falls through the window, and it's like, what was your plan really? Because like he's like, here, this is my ace on the sleeve. I got all the penguins surrounding us. I got the detonator. But it's like, let's say hypothetically he pushed the detonation. He was gonna die in that blast too, So I mean, what do you?
And then it gets pressed anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And then, he doesn't even. Theoretically, it gets pressed. Cobblepot falls down the hole. Then explosions happen. If anybody should have died, it should have been Batman because he was still above ground with the explosion.
And like, apparently that fall killed the penguin. And I get it. It's a big fall, but that looked like deep water.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And we've already had like such loopy laws of physics anyway.
Yeah. And then these penguins, without opposable thumbs yet again, come in funeral procession manner and march the penguin, Danny DeVito's body down into the water off the slope. I don't really know how that happens because like their fins are hardly touching his back. They're just kind of waddling along the side. Like he just kind of slides down on his own accord. And it's just like.
And it looks cool. And I guess the whole point was like, he's not a man. He's a penguin.
Yeah.
But like he was gonna kill all his penguin buddies like 2 minutes prior.
Yeah.
So why are we honoring him again?
Same reason terrorists honor Osama, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
but that implies like there's a jihadist penguin religion that we weren't privy to.
There could be, man.
He had 33 years in those sewers.
Yeah, all by the penguins, man. That's another thing. I've heard of being raised by wolves, but raised by penguins is kind of extreme. What's up, Indy? You said that he reveals that he's Batman.
Yeah,
what about the first scene, though, when he first shows it?
Well, like 25 minutes into the movie, Batman's hanging out with Max Schreck. And he's like, I've done the detective work, and Cobblepot is related to the
Red Triangle.
Red Triangle gang. And I was like, Mr. Billionaire Playboy, you're a detective, are you?
Yeah. One who's not supposed to care about this stuff.
And then he makes like some other slips of the tongue that pretty much say, hey, if you're paying attention, I am Batman or I work for him.
Yeah, I know him. I mean, at least in Spider-Man, they're like, yo, Peter, how do you get these shots of Spider-Man? He's like, well, I'm best friends with the guy. You know, he just invents like an alibi. And Batman's just like, hey, I'm Batman. But don't read too much into it.
And like we already said, the stupid ending with Max Schreck, he takes his mask off. So you kind of have to kill Max Schreck at that point, right?
Yeah, technically.
So you're gonna take Max Schreck to the police, who is then gonna tell them you're Batman. Which, okay, maybe he's banking on they're not gonna believe this guy. But let's say they do. You have like 25 murders to your name.
Yeah, they definitely were blaming Batman for the death of the Ice Princess lady. Yeah. So like, they're gonna come at least investigate. Yeah. And then clearly Alfred's very poor at closing the secret entrances, because at that one scene with Selena and Bruce by the fireplace, Alfred just straight up comes out the secret entrance and just leaves the door wide open, like whatever, and then...
Oh, we have company? I didn't realize.
My bad. So, I mean, I guess with a thorough investigation of the manor, they would have found out he was Batman. So it's like...
Well, the police probably would have showed up and Alfred would have been walking out the secret passageway.
Yeah, and the Iron Maiden would have been open with a tunnel and no spikes and all that.
And bats would have been flying around the mansion.
Not to mention that there is a bat signal at all four corners of the house that shine directly in the windows, so it's kind of like...
Okay, maybe those were just like mirrors to reflect the signal over. But still, why do you have these?
Yeah, why do you have these massive mirrors? I can see the mirror thing, but that's projecting off of, at that point, the ozone layer, because they're hitting the sky, and then somehow you're redirecting that light onto a mirror. Which apparently, when you're a billionaire,
there's a lot of mercury in there.
Yeah.
You see the pollution. Okay. Did you enjoy Danny DeVito as the Penguin?
Yeah, it was really weird to see the fact that he looks so haggard in this, and then you fast forward to now with It's Always Sunny, and he looks less shitty now than he did back then.
He kind of plateaued as far as like his physical degradation went.
Yeah. He was a good Penguin though. I mean, you had to pick like a short, stocky character, and he definitely had that down. I like. We didn't really make note of this at any point in the last couple podcasts, but while watching these, we've kind of been touching on Kevin Smith's commentary on it. I like how he said that he was like, if I was just lost my mind and I was a fat ass, I'd just wear a onesie too. Cause I mean, he practically wears a onesie underneath everything the whole movie. It's kind of funny, but
it's like a toddler's onesie, but like blown up to contain a midget fat man.
Yeah, and he's got boots and like a handkerchief.
And he just walks around in this. Like nobody's gonna give it a second thought.
The black blood is still kind of weird to me, because when he finally starts bleeding at the end, he's spitting blood out of his mouth. It's black, and I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Which then you were like, well, it's just the oil out of his blubber. That's pretty funny. I like it. I don't think Tim Burton thought into it that deeply. Maybe not, but it's a pretty good idea there.
Maybe it's just bile, He's all infected from the pollution in the sewers.
Yeah, it's black bile.
Still, I don't know if that stands up to medical science.
Eating raw fish for the last forever.
But yeah, I guess as far as midget actors from that period go, you can't do much better than Danny DeVito. Especially if you're not going to go with the self-made man argument I made.
Yeah.
And Danny DeVito's really funny. He's got a good villain voice.
He does have a good villain.
He's never really intimidating, but I guess he's kind of scary in a few scenes.
Yeah.
And his dirty jokes are funny, and he almost has charisma in a few parts. Like he's messing with some interns, and it almost comes off as smooth.
Yeah.
But he's grunting and making sex noises between breaths.
Yeah, he is.
Like, if you just took his lines and be like, oh, that's pretty suave, sir, but he's like making sex noises in between saying them.
Yeah. He pins that thing on her breast and he's like, and it's like, what are you doing, man? I'm pretty sure that doesn't fly in any corner of the world, like in modern time or
no, this was the 90s. Bill Clinton might have got away with that in his office. But I give him more credit than those noises. Just the actual act I can see him doing all day, though.
Yeah. So Bill, it wouldn't be weird grunting. It'd be like more like, I got a little weird laughs. Like, I got it. But why do the villains so pursue Batman? It's kind of interesting.
It's so loose. Like, Max Schreck's plan does not conflict with Batman in any way. The Penguin's plan does not conflict with Batman in any way. Until he says screw it and goes after babies.
Yeah.
Batman's gonna interfere with that.
Yeah.
But I don't think Batman interferes with like shady politics that they're not legal, but that's kind of politics.
Ish and Dark Knight-ish, because he goes to Japan to grab what's his name.
Yeah.
That's about it, though.
Yeah,
not comically speaking.
Yeah. I can't think of too many comics where it's like, oh no, the election for the mayor may have had voter fraud. I must intervene.
Yeah.
Every ballot shall be counted on my watch.
They should have done like a thing back in the day. I say back in the day. You know how like Obama got elected? They made all these like comics, Spider-Man meets Obama, etc. They should have made like
Barack the Barbarian. You need to see that.
They should have made Batman recounts Florida.
Yeah. I'd have bought it.
Batman flies in, just give me the right votes. Just punching ballot voters left and right. Awesome, man. Awesome. Like Al Gore wins the election. Like this whole like side universe happens where like global warming isn't a problem and all this kind of shit. It was so funny. But other than that, let's see. And with Cobblepot, but with Max Schreck, I can kind of understand because it's like, early in the movie they had the board meeting together, and Bruce was already like, "Look, dude, I get it. You're fucking over Gotham.
Yeah.
I don't appreciate it."
So he was onto it. He was dirty.
It's almost like he took it to a personal level. Like, you can't fuck with my city like this, man. But at the same time,
and I guess they're business partners to some degree.
Yeah, it kind of made it seem, because he had a file on him and everything. It made it seem that way.
And Catwoman's reason to go toe-to Batman's flimsy too is just, hey, you ruined like my feminazi night out. Now I want to be a part in killing you.
Yeah, which is weird because like, comically, she's a cat burglar, and then they kind of have this whole ish work together, sometimes on opposite sides of the spectrum. But they get along. In this, it's like they just hate each other, but then they make out, then they hate each other.
It's like.
But then they meet each other in real life, but then they don't. It's weird.
It's kind of a classic destructive relationship.
Yeah.
I hate you, but I really want to be with you.
Yeah.
As opposed to in the comics, it's usually we have very fond feelings toward each other, but I just can't let you be still and crap.
Yeah. I love the pure zaniness of Catwoman in this movie, and just everything. I mean,
don't let anybody tell you this is a bad movie.
No.
This is a very, very fun movie.
Yeah, it's so fun. And the first one is like 1989 Batman is very dark, brooding, dark comedy. Like the Joker's comedy in it is so dark. This one, it's just like, let's just have fun.
Yeah.
And that's what's fun about it, literally, is like we touched on, every single villain, like henchman that is basically like a circus clown, or a stilts walker, or they got like
fire breather.
Yeah, a skull mask on or something.
I like a skull mask.
I did too, that was really cool. They're all so zany and just not, it's like, he tried so hard to make Batman 1 realistic, and then was like, let's just make this one super unrealistic, It was really, I don't know, again, like we were saying, it might have to do with that Tim Burton never really cared about making a good Batman movie. Well, I don't want to say that. But
I feel like he cared about making a good movie.
A good movie,
just
but he didn't
whether
care about
it has
Batman.
much to do with Batman and Bruce Wayne is superfluous.
Yeah, he just didn't really care about Batman, but yeah. So it was interesting to see that, like, the flip-flop there. It was like, let's make a serious, dark movie. Let's make a silly, sexual movie, you know, like...
Yeah, this is like the darkest, silly movie ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, don't let anybody tell you this is a bad movie. If you like Batman, if you're a nerd, get your friends together, get some beers, and just watch this movie and laugh your ass off.
You don't even need beers to laugh, man. It's hilarious. I mean, this is my third one. It's hilarious. It's a great movie.
If you're a stickler for like narrative structure, then I guess it's not for you. But
Yeah, if you're a critic of cinema, you might maybe not be let down, but not find it so entertaining. But we as Batman aficionados definitely enjoy it, and think everybody that does like Batman would too. I mean,
and as far as silly Batman goes, this is 1,000 times better than '60s Batman.
yeah, good old Adam West.
I'll take this silly Batman over that any day.
Because this silly Batman is still dark, and Batman, that Batman is Robin. Hand me the oceanic bat repellent shark spray, and like literally takes hairspray, sprays a shark that clearly is latched onto his calf,
A clearly inflatable shark.
which doesn't it by some weird sense of logic doesn't even hurt his calf once it lets go of him with its jaws. Sprays it in the face. It hits the ocean and explodes into pieces.
Yes, and let's also don't forget that this Adam West fellow, who's not in incredibly great shape, apparently is so tough that shark bites don't hardly make a flinch.
Exactly. Don't even draw blood at that. So, and of course, Robin had to very nonchalantly and unnecessarily acrobatic down the rope ladder in that scene. I don't know if you remember
and
that.
The puns.
He climbs down it, and then he like makes this whole like extra 3-minute point to like loop his legs in and hang upside down to hand him the bat spray.
Not to mention our cheapest special effect ever. We gotta flip the camera every time we gotta climb up the building.
Yeah. So.
Oh, by the way, they're about to put out Batman's '60s TV show out on DVD. So
Oh wow.
I didn't want to. We might have to review at least some of it now.
At least the movie.
Yeah, at least the movie.
That's the most villains that have been in any Batman movie too.
I'm
if you
sure.
think about it. There's 3, and there's Two-Face, Joker, and Penguin all against him.
Is
and
Catwoman in that one?
I don't think so, but I can't remember. It's been a long time since that. But
And I do kind of want to watch Batman's '60s show now because I didn't know this. What's his Green Hornet and Bruce Lee are in a few episodes.
yeah.
I've never seen those.
I've never seen that, but I remember reading about that when the Green Hornet came out because everybody was like, "Well, this is basically Batman just without Batman." I mean, it's a rich kid. His family dies. He decides to become a vigilante. He has a sidekick.
But Bruce Lee is his partner, so it's awesome.
Yeah, which modern Green Hornet. Since I've seen it, I'm talking about the Seth Rogen and Kevin Smith film. But a long time ago on the radio show when they had the Green Hornet, there was a Batman radio show too, and the corresponding TV show. Bruce Lee voiced all of Kato's parts for the Green Hornet, and like you said, they're featured in some Batman episodes. So that'd be cool, definitely, to check that out.
Also, I'm a big Vincent Price fan. Apparently, Vincent Price is a bad guy in one of these.
That's
He's
awesome.
Like, his theme is eggs.
Interesting.
Yeah, his theme is eggs.
Eggs. I love Vincent Price. We'll definitely have to check that out.
Okay, we probably rambled on enough. You were getting closing arguments?
Not really. Only thing I have to say is, while this movie was interesting and, like we've said numerous times, a little zany, the 2 movies that come next are really zany, and while they were interesting and, some people can call them nostalgic, I really wish Tim Burton just stuck with it instead of letting Schumacher come in and put nipples on the bat suit and all that kind of weird stuff. But, we really just can't talk about that or debate it because it's not how it happened. And the whole time, like, at least I know you and I grew up, we're 90s kids. This is the Batman we knew. The Schumacher Batman is the Batman we knew. Just like the Nolan Batman is the Batmans we know now. So you really can't just remove that But
at the time, especially if you were a kid, it didn't seem that bad.
No.
There were no superhero movies. Like I saw a preview for Mystery Men the other day. And I remember being like less than 12 years old, and thinking Mystery Men was almost on par with Batman. Because what other superhero movies were there?
Right.
There was 3 good Batman flicks. There's this Mystery Men movie, and there was those ancient Superman movies I didn't care about.
Mystery Men's great though. I do. It's just so over the top, stupid. That's great. But yeah, I really have nothing else to bring up on it. I mean, it's just like we said, it's a great movie. Definitely watch. If nothing else, watch the first 2 Tim Burton Batmans, and then you can skip ahead to Nolan's if you just really want to. But
I have some fond feelings for the next one, but we'll have to search long and hard for somebody to defend the 4th one.
Yeah, it's gonna be almost harder to defend than Pop Punk, I guess. But
If you've stuck in this long, you'll enjoy that joke.
Yeah. That being said, check out Batman Returns.
Yeah.
I forget what year it came out. We've been
92, 93.
Okay.
I was like just born.
Yeah, I was like a kid. Yeah, so a toddler, not a kid, but yeah. So yeah, we reference Batman '89 as Batman '89. This, I guess, is just Batman Returns.
Yeah, because it actually has a title.
But check it out, definitely. You'll enjoy it. Like Kevin said, get some friends together, maybe get some beers.
It's not good cinema, but it's a really fun movie.
It's a fun movie to sit down, chill with your friends, shoot the shit, and make fun at, honestly. But then at the same time, you're like, that was pretty cool. That part was definitely cool.
There are
this
some
part is funny.
very, very good parts amongst the poking fun.
Yeah. So check it out, and I guess we'll see you next time with, what's the next one, Batman and Forever? Or is it Batman and Robin?
I think it's Batman Forever.
I think it's Forever.
Yes, Batman Forever with Tommy Lee Jones, Val Kilmer.
Yes, we will see you on that flip side, and maybe have one of our friends along for the ride. Hopefully, this is talking to all of you who have replied to my post. Notice I'm looking straight in the camera at you.
Do you want to end with the Nixon sign, which is brought up frequently in this movie?
Yeah. Good old Christopher Walken throwing up his political sign in this movie with.
And he even references Nixon at one point.
So on that note, we'll see you next time.